Welcome to the Live, Love, Laugh, and Let Go Out Loud with Lynn Serrano. I'm your host, and I'm super excited about my guest, Brandy Wilson Edwards. She'll be here momentarily, and you're just going to love her. You're going to see her beauty in the inside, outside, and she's such a go-getter, and she's just an amazing person. You'll be right back after this. Welcome back with Brandy, the one and only Brandy Wilson. Welcome to the stage. This isn't the first time we've been together, just highlighting that, but so much has happened since then. So welcome, Brandy. Why don't you just tell everybody a little about you, because then we're just going to fold out with everything else.
It's hard to really describe who I am in a short sentence. I tell people I'm a multi-passionate person. I love doing a lot of different things, but I am an attorney, motivational speaker, well-being advocate. I love to teach yoga in some of my workshops that I do. And I tell people I'm a structured free spirit. So I like spontaneity, but I do like a little bit of structure.
I love it. She loves pink. I love pink and I love purple. So I am super excited and honored that we're actually here on our own turf. We're going to have so much fun. I'm going to start out with this, and this will go into your life there. Is what things have you let go out loud? Because you can't live, love, and laugh until you let go of things. Wouldn't you agree? And what would you share? What would you like to share that you've let go out loud?
Right. I think it's so important that we have to bless and release things that no longer serve us or never did serve us. And that way you can rise, because you have a lot of things that can hold you down. That might be people, habits, routines. And one thing that I let go in my life that elevated my life personally and professionally was alcohol. I stopped drinking over 4 years ago, and it was the best decision. And it actually wasn't anything that I set out to do. I was actually training for a fitness competition and had a short-term goal to train for 6 months. And part of that was working out regularly, eating really healthy, and eliminating alcohol to be 100% dedicated. And throughout that training journey, I experienced life without alcohol for 6 months, which I'd never done. And it became this epic self-discovery journey, learning a lot about myself. And I loved all the extra time that I was gaining in my life by not having a hangover or anything like that. And so I just decided to keep counting the days. And I actually never trained for the fitness competition. And I think that's important too for your listeners to realize. Sometimes you have these goals in your life, and your goals can change, your dreams can change, but everything is always a stepping stone leading you to the next goal, to the next experience, and allowing things in your past to be lessons and blessings. And that way you can apply it moving forward. So one thing that I let go of was alcohol, and it's a lifestyle choice for me. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, I'm still counting the days, which is 4 years and 4 months right now.
I'm really proud of you. I mean, I have a friend that I do a show with, and he's a recovering alcoholic, addictions, all those things. He's made life changes, and he's done things that have changed a lot of people's lives. And I'm just grateful that you did it because you wanted to do it, not because you were in a place that you had to do it. But I just want to take a moment and play this little video real quick.
Okay.
Well, hey, I just wanted to hear that Brandy's going to be on your show. And as I'm going for my evening walk here, I just want to say how awesome I think that is. I've known Brandy for maybe 6 or 7 years, and I have just watched her from somebody who had a dream and a passion for sharing her talents with others and wanting to be a speaker and a teacher, and she's fulfilling that dream. And I had the honor of being there for her first speech ever, and I have seen her give speeches since then, and she's just she's so dynamic. She's such a great speaker. If you have an event, you should hire her as a speaker. But she's just a great friend. Her wisdom, sometimes we'll just sit there and talk, and she'll share so much life wisdom with me, and I'm like, where does this wisdom come from? She is a world-class woman. She's gonna be a wonderful speaker. She is a wonderful speaker, but she's just going to grow in that. And I'm so excited that she's on your show because I know she's going to deliver a ton of value. I know she's going to give your listeners great value. And if they listen and take notes and practice what she preaches, then it's going to make an impact on their life. Every group that Brandy speaks for, whether it's a podcast or one-on-one, just having dinner with her like I've been lucky enough to do, or an audience member in one of her speeches, they are impacted. And she's a wonderful person. She's going to do great things. She's very talented and intelligent. And I'm looking forward to listening to this podcast. Hi, Brandy.
Surprise!
What a nice surprise. I love that. Thank you so much, Ron. He is amazing. He is so kind. And I am grateful for our friendship, both personally and professionally. It's been really fun. We met at a speaking event that he did years ago. And I went up to him and I was like, you are the most memorable that I've ever heard at this particular event that I was going to regularly at these luncheons. And we became friends after that. So thank you so much, Ron.
Well, and it's sweet because I did this at the last minute. I checked what's that called? You'll see here in a minute.
Okay.
See, I didn't want the music to, I didn't have the rights to the music, but
right.
Look how sweet and adorable you are. You're just so stinking adorable.
I love having like random dance parties. I will dance by myself anywhere. And that was just a video that I did on TikTok, which I need to post more on TikTok, but I found all these dancing videos and just put that together. I think that was to Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah,
I think that was the music.
You don't want to get in trouble, but and then I thought this was really cute.
This is your kind reminder that you are beautiful and you are worthy. You provide value to this world. You have unique gifts and talents. Your worth is not attached to your achievements, and you matter. I love that. This is one of the most interesting, not even one of the most, this is the most interesting podcast interview I've ever done, with the personalized videos video from someone I know, and then finding my videos and sharing them on from social media. I love it. Thank you so much.
Well, it's just that I want to thank you because we were going to do a show and I had to cancel because I had some health issues, things going on. And I was like, what? I got to take care of me before I got to take anybody else. And you have just been so compassionate. And that just meant so much to me, Brandy. And it just goes to show you who you are. So I just love you. I just love seeing your post and all that stuff. So I wanted to ask you, what meaning does living your best life have for you personally?
What meaning does living my best life having for me personally? For me, it is doing things that light my soul on fire. It is what I call following my happiness, doing things that make me happy, not living for someone else, but doing things because I want to do them. And I feel like if more people did that, you would have people happier in their careers. You would have people happier in their life personally in different ways as well. So listening to your intuition and taking that inspired, courageous action so that you really can do what lights your soul on fire.
I love that. And yeah, that's how I feel about that. Now listen to this quickly or carefully.
Okay.
So have you ever gotten yourself in a pickle? What kind of pickle would you say you gotten yourself into? That you learned the most valuable lesson ever.
Oh my goodness, you crack me up. And that is why I love you, because you don't take yourself too seriously and you have fun every single day with your videos and these interviews. I love it. And more people need fun like that in their lives, not taking ourselves too seriously. It's so important.
Yeah. So even though in saying that, I want you to know that
Come on. You can do better than that. Answer the question.
Came prepared. I love it.
So we got to hear what you got yourself in the pickle with, because that's like the best thing about my show is finding out how people got themselves in the pickle.
Well, this is actually hilarious. This is, well, I don't know. I don't know if I should share that story or
Yes,
not.
come on. You see, we're about 10 minutes in. If people didn't
Okay.
come in this far, they're not going to listen
Okay.
anyway. So.
Well, and it's just because obviously I won't say her name, but I used to be a live-in nanny, interestingly, before law school for 6 months while I was studying for my law school admissions test. And I was at home every single day with this fifth grade boy. And it was during the school day and someone was knocking on the door and I was like, well, that's interesting. Maybe someone's having a package delivered. And so and they were like, are you so-and-so, the owner of this particular car? And I was like, oh, but it's parked in the garage. And they were there to repossess the car. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I didn't have to just let them have it. And so I opened up the garage door and then they took it. And I was like, what is going on? And so I called the mom and she was like, shut the door, shut the door. And I was like, I can't. They were literally, it will smash your car because they are taking it right now. And so she hadn't made a payment and I didn't know that. And they came and repossessed her car. So that was quite a pickle because, you know, I was in a very unfortunate position. But yeah, that was quite a pickle to be in. And I felt really bad about it.
Did
There
she have
could have
enough
been
money
some.
to pay you for babysitting?
She did. But you know, that there could have been some more communication, you know,
Yeah.
since she kind of
Yeah.
knew what was going on. But
Yeah.
it was an unfortunate situation all the way around.
Yeah.
But it was a pickle.
It was
And that was the first thing that came to mind because that was a horrible experience, I think, for everybody involved, except the guy that was there to get the car because he
Ye-
probably thought, wow, this is the easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because I used to work for a bank, and if you didn't pay your car loan, I'd send somebody to go pick up your car.
Right. Yeah.
And but
So,
before I even knew what the word repossession meant, I think I was like 12, 13 or
yeah.
something. And my brother gets up, wakes up, and he's visiting town. He's like, my car got stolen. And I happened to call my friend's brother that works at the dispatcher, and I said, they said it's not stolen, it's repossessed. So I was happy to say, your car wasn't stolen, it's just repossessed.
You can just go get it for a small fee.
But I was like, it's not stolen.
Yeah. I guess it's better than the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Anyways, that's not too bad though. The pickle is being awkward and saying, can she pay me?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anxiety just thinking about that experience, which
Yeah.
happened like decades ago.
Oh, okay. So besides me, what makes you laugh?
um, what makes me laugh is Seinfeld. I love watching Seinfeld. It's obviously an old school show, but their comedy, the humor, and I feel like people that don't like the show just don't get the underlying things that they're
Laughter.
making fun of and the parodies. But I love that show, and I've seen Jerry Seinfeld do stand up several times. It's one of my
Nice.
favorites.
I love it. Okay. So what do you love in your life other than your family?
My little dog that is sleeping right behind me in this chair, being a great little girl, being quiet.
Oh, how sweet. I love that. And can you recall a time in your life that you said, oh, I'd never do, that you ended up doing? Because most people don't realize that you should be careful of what you say you'll never do.
Right. I would probably say I at some time in the past said I'm never drinking alcohol again. And then I stopped drinking now for over 4 years, especially when you've had a little too much to drink and you have a hangover. You're like, oh, I'm never drinking again.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would say that's the first thing that comes to mind. And you know, on that, I was the last one that anyone thought would ever stop drinking.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It was a way that I thought I was elevating what I was doing in my life, having the best time ever. I thought it was a great way to de-stress and unwind. And through that 6 month goal of training for that fitness competition, it taught me how much I was using alcohol as a crutch and how much so many people do because it's at every single event and people do it to fit in and to socialize and just out of habit and routine. And yeah, so you know, for anyone listening, I always like to point out that there's a gray area of drinking. You do not have to put labels on yourself because society wants you to. Society and people want to put you into a box and label you so they can identify you better, but you can fall on this spectrum of this gray area drinking, and you don't have to label yourself. You don't have to go to meetings. You don't have to do anything other than how you want to do it and how you want to pursue your journey if you decide to become sober curious.
I love that. I love that. What makes a person beautiful to you?
What makes a person beautiful to me is uh, really how much they care, like their personality, just really being caring and thoughtful. I think is beautiful, especially when people go out of their way, like you did today to wear pink. You said
Mhm.
that you wore pink for
Yep.
me, and I just think that is such uh, a great quality about someone who is thoughtful, whether it's something that they do or say, or actions that they take or
Well,
don't take.
I feel that about you because on your page you give a lot of love and videos, and I tried to steal some, but I was having problems. But anyways, I tried to take some to bring them back here, and that didn't work out well for me. So instead, what does Lynn do? She finds other ways. I'm going to go ahead and turn a question that you asked and see if you can go ahead and answer your own question.
Okay. You gotta love the freeze frames. The freeze frames are just like the best pictures ever, especially on Facebook. Like they love to just capture the most interesting freeze
Pose.
frame. Yeah, pose.
So do you have a hobby or a passion
Oh,
project?
I thought the video was waiting to play.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Um, okay.
But
So my favorite hobby, I would say I love doing yoga and I also love dancing.
yeah,
Obviously, you already played the dancing video. I can dance by myself, but I really love doing yoga. It transformed my life in so many different ways.
look at that, you guys. I just got to show you again. Check her out. Look at the passion she has when she's dancing. I love it. Look at her. Yeah, she's just going with it. I just love it.
When I was
That's
younger, I wanted to be a backup dancer. I wanted to move to LA and be a backup dancer. I
really.
loved it. Hmm.
Oh, you are so adorable. You are just so adorable. So, let's see. So, tell me, what mistakes have you made along the way?
Along the way, geez, I mean, I feel like we all make mistakes really regularly, especially if we're growing and evolving and improving and becoming the best version of ourselves. Uh, that is a big question. What mistakes have you made along the way? Well, I would say one mistake that I made just in my professional journey is not doing more research before hiring people to invest in. And so that would be my biggest tip is you don't always trust your intuition when you come
Don't
across
look
an
for the
opportunity to
facts.
work with someone or hire someone. Really do your research and really vet them out and have a contract.
Yes, I love that. And yeah, being an attorney, you should know the contract part. But anyways,
Yes.
what are your hairy, audacious goals?
One big audacious goal that I have is to be speaking on a stage in a sold out stadium. It is a huge goal and I visualize it frequently. I don't know what it looks like and I'm open to how it happens, but speaking at a huge stadium where, it's sold out, seats are filled, and inspiring and empowering people to take control of their life, to make courageous choices, and really create a life they love. That's a big goal that I have. I don't know
Well,
when it's happening, but it's happening one day.
it is. It's a wish fulfilled. Let me ask you this. You know who Glenn Morshower is, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, okay. He says goals are something he doesn't look as goals because they're outside you, something that's not attainable. And my goodness, Brandy, you need to reshift that. And it's not a goal. It's a matter of when, and so I know it's going to happen. So don't see that as something outside of you because it's done. It's just a matter of when it's on your schedule.
I like that. I like
Okay. So
reframing that.
yes, because goals are something you're always trying to reach. And
Mhm.
it doesn't mean you're going to reach them.
Right.
So don't look at it that way anymore as a goal. Look at it as that's done. That's a
Mhm.
given. You already can see it. You already just don't know when. And like Glenn Morshower says, it's like order it on your pizza. You know, order
Mhm.
it and it's done. You just have to wait till it's cooked, depending on the ingredients and the
Yes.
recipe. So it's done. It's done. So that's not audacious goal. That one's done. But
Oh, I love
something.
it.
So
I
think of
love that.
something different, something
Oh
that
my
you really
goodness.
do want to attain because you're a speaker already.
Mhm.
So don't even look at it that way. So Just think of something else that's really outside of you, because you're going to get to that goal so fast. And then what are you going to have from there? You're not going to have another goal. You're going to be like,
Right.
because hello, this is going to be a podcast when I upload it, and you're going to be in all over the world. So you're already talking all over the world.
Yes.
So, I mean, you really have to look at a different perspective. But hey, you and I were on TV. We were on Roku
Right.
channel.
Right.
So you've been speaking there. So a stage,
Right.
a live stage thing, that's nothing to you, girl. That's
Right.
done. So,
Well, I don't know. You're
yeah.
asking this thought-provoking question.
So we'll go back to that.
Yeah,
We'll
I
leave
don't
it
know.
alone.
I mean, I have
Yeah.
lots of goals, but
Yeah.
I guess all
Yeah.
things considered, they're already inside of me. They're already being
There.
created. It's just a matter of time when it happens.
Yep. You just have to be patient, be ready, and have your bags packed.
Yes.
So what are your successful habits?
One of mine is taking action despite fear and choosing to be strong and courageous. I tell people it is my life mantra. I encourage you to adopt it. I tell myself all the time, I'm strong and courageous. I am strong and courageous. And I have to tell myself that to build myself up to take action despite fear, to rise above imposter syndrome, to pursue all the things that I want to do, even if not even if, but when I have doubts, because I still doubt myself sometimes, despite encouraging everyone else to believe in
Mhm.
themselves. But it's really to take action despite fear, doing things scared, taking
Yes.
action anyway, because the more that you do it, the less fear that you will start to have around it, the more confidence that you will build in yourself.
And the more you grow,
Right.
you're building those new muscles. So
Mhm.
absolutely. What's the biggest factor that's helped you to be successful?
Believing in myself.
Yeah, that's what I would
There's still
say.
days, there's still times when I have doubted myself, certainly. But
But you
the
don't let that
reason
be your factor.
Right, right. I feel it, I sit with it, and then I take action anyway. And it
Yeah,
might take me a little bit longer, but I still take action anyway. And so that has allowed me to be successful.
I love it. And so what's your favorite quote?
I'm not sure who has said this quote, and I might be paraphrasing, but essentially it is, you are not defined by what has happened to you, but what you choose to do about it.
I love it. I love it. I think all our verbiage, there's such a variety of words you could put together that we all say things, even if we didn't know somebody else said it. So,
Right.
and like Bob Donnell says, 10 people can be on the stage and say a speech, but they're going to deliver all different ways, and it's going to be different to all different people. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, what's the best trip traveling wise? And it's funny when I realized I have this. What's the best trip? And then I put traveling wise.
It's all right. That's all right. I would say my best trip was when I went to New York City. I went twice by myself to attend a women's retreat, transform my life. I went in 2017 and 2018. I had to make a lot of courageous choices to do that. It was way outside of my comfort zone, but I would say those were definitely the best trips, the most empowering trips, filled with a lot of self-discovery.
I love that. What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Wow, I feel like I've done so many things that have been spontaneous. I would say, hmm, I booked a trip to Vegas last fall to go watch a speaker that I had recently met. He was in my mastermind group and CEO of a great company. And I was invited out to an event he was speaking at. And I looked at my calendar, and I think it was just in a few days. And I decided, you know what? You have to show up. You have to take these opportunities, because sometimes opportunities come around once. And I'm glad I did.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. What habit do you have now that you wish you'd started much earlier?
I would say, I was going to say becoming vegan, but that's really a lifestyle choice. But it's a habit of obviously not eating any animal products. What habit do I have now that I wish I would have started much earlier? Okay, I would say reading personal development books, because I started reading self-help books probably I don't know, at the beginning of my 30s. And I've always loved reading, and I was really never into fiction. So I would say I wish I would have started reading earlier, because right now, this year, I have a goal of reading at least two books a month. Sometimes I read three, sometimes I read more. It just depends. But I love reading. I love learning. I'm obsessed with personal development.
I love it. So that brings me into what book recommendations do you think have been impactful in your life?
Easy. That is a very easy question. It's called Light is the New Black. It is by Rebecca Campbell. It is about following what your soul is calling you to do, listening to your intuition. She calls them the whispers, what you feel compelled or called to do every single day, whether it's big decisions, small decisions. And that's really how you take control of your life. And
What's
that's how I ended up in New York, because I felt like I needed to be there at her retreat, and it didn't make sense for me to go. I was out of vacation days at work, and I'd never been to New York City, let alone going by myself, but something told me I needed to be there, and it transformed my life. And so Light is the New Black. It's about listening to what your soul is calling you to do. And if you can listen to that, listen to your intuition, you'll be guided to really step in to the life that you were born to live.
I love that. Yeah, I'm originally from Long Island in New York City, and it's always a great place to hang out. It's magical,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
magical.
Magical. That is a great way. That is how I describe New
Mhm.
York City. The energy is contagious. The creativity, the magic, the people. I
Yeah,
love
the
it.
arts. Yeah,
hmm
absolutely. What hard times in your life left you a better person after it was finished?
You are coming through with these great questions, just back to back to back.
Thank
I
you.
would say I would say the hardest time in my life that left me a better person after it was all said and done. This was so difficult to experience. It was one of the hardest times of my entire life, and it was when I failed the Texas bar the first time. I had to take the exam
Oh,
twice. I would say most, but a lot of attorneys do not pass the Texas bar the first time. I never failed at anything that I ever tried in my entire life. And I studied and I studied. I deserved to pass. I sat at home by myself on my birthday studying for this exam. I was that dedicated. But I took the exam. It was a 3-day exam. I took it on 5 hours of sleep on all 3 days because I was so stressed. And I would go to day one and I'd come back and study. Go to day. I was a hot mess trying to pass that.
we wish
But
we had
anyway,
Ron White to tell you how to study and memorize everything, right?
right? I needed Ron in my life then. Like, where were you, Ron?
Right.
Where were you? And he was nowhere around. But that was so hard. I mean, and that was the thing too, is I felt so defined by that failure. I felt embarrassed. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. And I took it again the second time, and I passed with flying colors. I had a lot more sleep. And, it was a great lesson, because I remember talking to an attorney, because so many attorneys don't talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
they I think have that embarrassment around it and fear of failure and all of those things. And I like to be very open about it, because no one was being open about it. And so I
Right.
felt like I'm the only one, even though I was looking at statistics. I'm like, a lot of people don't pass. But there was an attorney that I had been talking to that was interested in hiring me once I passed. And I'd actually never met him before, but I was connected to him through a mutual friend. And he had followed up with me and was like, how did it go? And I called him, and he just gave me the best advice. And he said, listen, there are going to be times, especially as an attorney, when you're working on cases, going to trial, that you deserve to win. Your client deserves to win, and you should, but you don't. And you just have to kind of like pick up the next day and you start on your new cases. But I just remember him taking time. I think we talked for about an hour, because I felt so defeated. And just the thought of having to study for that exam again was excruciating. But he took time out of his day to basically, he said that he didn't pass the first time. And that in life, sometimes what you deserve to receive, you're not going to. And you still show up, you still keep trying, you don't give up. And I remember calling my grandparents, bawling my eyes out, telling them that I didn't pass. And once I was done speaking, my grandpa said, so what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to take it again. Like, there's no option. That wasn't an option not to try again. He's like, that's what I want to hear.
Well, let me ask you this. Don't you find that that was just humbling to say, you know what, you may have the confidence, but if you don't do the things you need to, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you
Right.
show up. So and Debbie, one of my co-hosts, she says this is true. I produce a show of
Hi,
hers too.
Debbie.
So the thing is that I think it's a great point to say that don't ever be too cocky or let your ego be in front of the humbling experience. I mean that allowed you to know and relate and empathize with so many other
Oh,
people that
yeah.
have been in that situation. I've studied, or you know, some of us just block out or don't think when we're taking a test. It's just too
Right.
much of the structure. So I think that's a great humbling experience to let you know that I better not talk this up too much until I have it in the
Right.
bag, right?
Right. Well, and failure, and when you try again after failing,
Fail forward,
it
yeah.
shows you how to be resilient, to
Absolutely.
show up again, to try again, to not give up on what is important to you.
Yeah. And I mean, I have friends' daughters who have gone through nursing that have not passed like until the third time. Same
Hmm.
thing with nursing. Some people pass it first time, or
Right.
sometimes they don't, but they still became nurses and doctors and lawyers and all those things. So,
Right.
yeah, I love that. I love that. If you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
That is a broad question. If I
Yeah,
could
I already
start,
know a few things you wouldn't do already.
right, right,
So, but
right.
going forward, that
If I
you
could start all over again, what would I do differently? Gee, I don't know. These are such interesting questions. They're challenging questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, don't apologize. They're good. They're thought provoking.
Yes.
And I love deep conversations. I do not like surface level conversations. They're draining, they're boring. And so I like this. This is
Awesome.
intriguing because these are great questions, and not everyone on podcast interviews ask these thoughtful questions.
Well, and I
So,
and I just feel like you can't live, love, laugh without some of these questions.
oh
You
yeah.
If you can't laugh at yourself for having to start over and say, because there's a time, and I'm 56, and I'll admit that there's times in your life that you go, shoot, if I could do that again, well, maybe not. I don't want to go redo that. But again, you can laugh about it, thinking about, well, maybe if your younger
Right.
self or something. So
Well, I would say that rather than starting over and doing things differently, I wouldn't, because everything has been a learning lesson. Everything has been something that I try to see the past, even if it's challenging, because sometimes it's hard, is to see it as a lesson or a blessing, because it's through everything that has happened to us and every single choice that we've made, the easy choices, the hard choices, good choices, the bad choices, everything has led us to where we're at in our life in every
great
single moment.
question.
And so I would say that I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so things in the past have allowed me to be where I am. And I've learned a lot, and I still have a lot to learn. So,
I love that. And we always fail forward. And so again, there's no mistake. Everything happens for you, not to you. So
yes.
again, that was a great answer, and that's what a great answer is. What personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble? Maybe dancing at places you shouldn't. I don't know.
Maybe back in some of my younger days,
Randy Brandy days.
I would say talking, because I'm thinking like when I was a kid, I was always the kid that got moved around a lot, talking to anyone that I got sat next to. And I just thought it was so funny as a child, because I was like, I'm going to make friends with the person that you sit me next to. I'm going to talk to them as well. It doesn't matter where you move me to, I'm going to talk to the person next to me. So I would say that just being very talkative.
Yeah.
And I joke now because I got in trouble for talking a lot when I was a kid, and now I get paid to talk for very long periods of time. And so that's what's interesting too, is, if parents and teachers can look at their too muchness in their children and see how that can actually be utilized,
Mm-hmm.
encouraged or supported in different ways in the right context, then I think it just kind of opens more doors and opportunities to explore maybe where some of their gifts and talents
Yes.
are and not being utilized.
I want to start a school that when kids are born, you don't discipline them or tell them not to touch this or touch that, but have a room with instruments, art, creative stuff, mechanical stuff, and see what they innately go to and what
Mhm.
they naturally are like, oh, yeah, I know this and I know how to do this. And let kids cultivate, not cover them and put them in a box, but let them be who they are naturally.
Right.
And then tell them, hey, this is what we see that you do and that, and encourage that curriculum based on how they are. But yeah, I agree. What's the most impressive thing you know how to do?
The most impressive thing that I know how to do. Gee, I don't know how to answer that question.
Come on. There's things that you know how to impress that you just are good at. Come on.
I would just say my ability to I call myself kind of like a content generator. I can just look at anything and become inspired and write something about it or speak something about it. Just I feel like I'm really creative, and I would
There
say
you
that
go.
that's impressive because I could just look at something. I could look at a tree outside. I could look at a cup. I don't know. I could look at
Yeah,
anything and write something I feel like that would be somewhat intriguing or thought provoking, perhaps, or
I
inspiring about it.
yes, I see that in you. I see that. So how do you organize your time?
I really feel like I fly by the seat of my pants every single day. So I organize my time by putting appointments and different things that have certain time deadlines in my calendar on my phone. Other than that, I feel like I'm working on one deadline to the next to the next. I could be much better about being organized with my time, which is something I'm working on.
Well, you're doing really good so far, girl. So I wouldn't change too much.
Thank
But
you. I
but
like
let
and
me
that's why I call myself a structured free spirit. I like some
yes,
structure, but I need time to be spontaneous,
me
and
too.
I'm the type of person, like, I don't mind making plans 2 weeks from now, but I don't want my calendar just booked solid because I need an opportunity to just do whatever comes up, an
Yes,
opportunity that I might have without being so structured.
I love that. So what's your perfect day look like then?
My perfect day looks like an ideal day would be waking up when the alarm goes off and not hitting snooze, which I'm still a work in progress. I do not do that every single day. I am working on that. I have been working on that. That's okay. But getting up when the alarm goes off, moving my body, doing some type of movement, whether that's working out, lifting weights, riding the Peloton, doing some yoga, doing an outdoor walk, moving my body, reading some type of personal development book, and then getting started with my day. And ideally that would include a speaking event to empower others.
I love it. I love it. Well, you should have your speaking event live stream every day just to practice for your stage. Just saying. Just
Hmm.
saying. So what's the best thing you've got going in your life right at the moment, other than your cute little puppy dog?
The best thing that I have going on in my life at the moment, I would say my speaking career, because it's growing and I've been doing it for 3 years now and it's building momentum, and I have been very patient, but I've also been very persistent, and I'm excited to see how it evolves over the next few years. And so that is the best thing that I have going on, because I have been showing up consistently to pursue my potential and my dreams.
I love it. I love it. If you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out, what would it be?
One piece of advice, it would be to take action. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to have everything planned out, because your plan will change and the actions that you need to take to achieve what it is that you want can and will change, but just to take action, because you
Yes.
have to, in a small action too. It's really easy to think that you have to do biggest thing, the boldest or bravest thing that you need to do, but it's the small choices, the small actions that you make every single day that will compound over time and start to get you the results that you want. So it would be to take action, to stop waiting, to stop waiting until everything is perfect or you have everything figured out. You
I
have to
love that.
take action.
That compound effect book is fabulous
Yes,
to make a
yes.
great point.
Yes, Darren
Absolutely.
Hardy. I
Yes.
talk about the compound effect in some of my speaking events about taking choices and how they or making choices and taking action and how it compounds over time.
Absolutely. What kind of people do you most enjoy hanging out with?
I enjoy hanging out with people who are ambitious and people who are driven, people who have a growth mindset, people who are dreamers and visionaries, and they believe what they desire is possible because those people believe in you and they believe in your dreams and they believe what is possible for you. And they're very encouraging and supportive. So I love hanging out with people who are ambitious
I love it.
and
So,
dreamers.
yes. So, what tells you the most about a person?
I would say what tells you the most about a person is really observing how they interact and treat other people.
Yeah.
I think that gives you a lot of insight, especially people who are not their friends. But if you are at a restaurant, how they interact and treat staff, how they interact and treat people in a checkout line at a grocery store, just those everyday interactions with people who they might not necessarily know or know well tells you a lot about somebody.
I love that. Okay. So, if a genie granted you 3 wishes right now, what would you wish for?
I would wish to be speaking full time because right now I am still practicing law. I don't know that I want to leave law completely, but I want to speak full time. And so that would be first and foremost, number one. My second wish would be to be debt free because I am still paying on my student loans, which I'm so close to paying off. It has been a top priority. I've been very diligent about prioritizing that over many other things. And I can see the light at the end of what started out as a very dark tunnel. So that'd be
Awesome.
wish number 2. And I would say number 3 would be to, let's see, what would my third wish be? To have another book published. I would have another book out. That's a labor of love. So I
Yep.
would have another book.
So your book is going to be done. You're paying compound effect. You're paying on your loans. That's going to be done. And then your first one, as far as law, and I try not to say law and lawyer because it's a Long Island thing, but you can do that when you want to and consult and yeah, I thought you had lowered your time working as an attorney, but you got to pay that bill somehow, right?
Right. Well, and you wouldn't know it from social media. I stay so busy doing so many different things. But I have given myself permission. Good morning, Bob. I
Good
have
morning, Bob.
given myself permission to be both. When I first had the goal of speaking 3 years ago, I thought I needed to be an attorney or a speaker. And then I realized I can be both. I can be an attorney and a speaker and a yoga teacher and an author and all the things that I want to do. And I'm giving myself permission to figure it all out as I go. And interestingly, I've really gotten involved in the attorney well-being movement. And I just recorded a CLE, continuing legal education course that will be available to attorneys all over the US. And in doing what I can to inspire attorneys to become happier, to take control of their life, and to prioritize themselves in a variety of different ways, not just their clients, not just their billable hours.
I love that. I love that. Sometimes you see a problem, you got to be the solution, not stay stuck complaining about the problem. So
Right.
I really love that. So by chance, do you know a funny joke? By heart? Come on, because there's enough attorney jokes out there. So you can't tell me you
There
don't know
are.
attorney joke.
I don't really say a lot of jokes, so nothing really comes to mind. There are obviously a lot of attorney jokes. There are a lot of blonde jokes. So if you have one, I would love to hear one because I really don't tell a lot of jokes, so
Oh,
nothing
oh
really
no,
comes
no.
to
I
mind.
have the podcast, so I don't have to answer these questions if I don't want to. No, just kidding. But that's pretty smart of you, pretty cute of you to try that. But man, time has just flown, girl. I don't
It
even know.
does.
I
When
don't
you're
even
having
know.
fun, it goes by fast.
I know. So I have this little last video here.
Brandy, thank you for being on the show today. You're amazing, fantastic, and beautiful inside and out. I appreciate you. You always inspire me with your posts you make on Facebook. And I just thank you for being understanding and for being there as a friend and a mentor and just an inspiring, beautiful person. God bless you. Best wishes. And hope we do this again sometime soon because it's fabulous having you on my show. Thank you.
You are so kind and thoughtful. You are very welcome. You are
Well,
very
I knew we were
welcome.
gonna have fun. I mean, a girl that can
Yes.
do this, I just gotta show this again. It's just so darn cute.
And the girl that I was dancing with in the very first clip when I have on the pink crop
Yeah.
top, she was just a random girl at an entrepreneurs conference that I met because I started at the back of the concert that they were having at the end of the conference. I was like, I'm going to the front. I'm going to the front. It was just like open seating, general admission. And I walked all the way to the front and had so much fun. And she was there by herself and we just had a good time.
That's awesome. Well, this was so much fun to get to see Brandy in a different little spectrum. We all have the different sides to us. So I hope you find that this interview was fun and willing to share many times over. And again, I thank you for being here, and I hope we have you on some other time.
Yes, I would love that. And happy to, answer any questions people have. I'll go look at the comments later when we're done. But if anyone that is watching is looking for a speaker for your next event, please reach out to me. You can email me at the self-love challenge at gmail.com. I have a presentation I give about the power of pausing, which Lynn, I told you, I was so glad when you were telling me thank you for your patience for us rescheduling this interview. I said, that is the first step in my presentation that I talk about the P, pausing. You took time to prioritize yourself. It doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. And I mean, yes, there's different obligations and things like that, but taking time to prioritize yourself and doing what you need to do
Yeah.
is just so important.
Mhm.
And you took time to pause in your life, which
Yes.
is so needed at various times.
Well, I surround myself with the best, so I'm glad you're one of them in my circle. So thanks again, and everybody have a great day. And if you need to hook up with her, trust me, I'll hook you up. So have a good one, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Lynn.
You're welcome. My pleasure.